On to RimWorld Biotech preview number 2. So Biotech, the third RimWorld DLC or expansion or whatever you want to call it. I'm a little late on these because we had some real life stuff going on with my daughter and her school and whatnot, and it was a mess. But anyway, I won't get into that. So people have been asking me to put these out to read through this, say what my thoughts are, and discuss it a little bit, like every day. So here we are doing this. This will be the, I guess, fourth one. We did a 1.4 one, the overall Biotech announcement, the preview one, and now on to preview 2. And I'll do a new one of these every time there is a new one posted. So, all right, Biotech preview number 2 for RimWorld. Will, a designer working on RimWorld. In our last blog post, we covered how Biotech lets you build mechanoid colonies run by high-tech Mechanosaur overseers. You can also read the original. Today, we'll look at combat mechs, command mechs, and pollution. New combat mechs open up many avenues for offensive and defensive tactics, and special super dangerous mechs hold the key to great power for your Mechanosaur. Mechanoid production also generates pollution, which has its own unique challenge and uses. Later this week, we'll take a look at reproduction, children, and vat growing and genetic modification. So I will make a new video on that whenever that's out, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow. Meccanoid Commanders. Biotech introduces 3 new commander mechanoids to fight. Defeat these super deadly enemies and harvest special mechanoid chips from their smoking husks to advance your mechanoid technology. You can provoke super mechs into attacking your colony by using signaler devices, but be prepared. Each mechanoid commander drops a different mechanoid chip. The first time you acquire each type of chip, you'll unlock a new tier of mechanoid research. Mechanoid chips are also used as resources to produce top-tier mechanoids and Mechanosaur upgrades. With enough chips, you can power up your humble Mechanosaur into an unstoppable Mech Lord. Let's check out this picture here. There's a pig man named Snuggler. Look at that beam. Man, oh man. There's going to be some real crazy stuff to get used to. Some real crazy stuff. We saw this picture in one of the original posts. So we created the super mechanoid enemies to add meaningful milestones to mechanoid progression. While research is fine for most advancements, we wanted Mechanosaurs to feel different. Progression is actively earned by overcoming tougher and tougher challenges instead of research alone. We added tons of new controllable mechanoids, brain implants, buildings, and gear to each tier of mechanoid tech to make progression extra rewarding. So one of the things I think about immediately is like, man, what if Royalty came out today? What if Royalty had not been the first expansion? What if they worked on Royalty today? How crazy would, like, you know, the animatree and more casting stuff, and how much more there may have been with Royalty. But anyway, this is really awesome so far, but it does make me wonder, like, man, I wish the development team had been as big and, you know, stuff during Royalty time. But anyway, you'll be able to fight Mechanoid Commanders at your own speed, unlike other challenges in RimWorld that scale as your colony grows wealthier. Super Mechanoid enemies scale with the number of times you call them. Nice. This allows you to tackle them early on and beef up your tech, or wait and carefully prepare your colony for the big fight. That's pretty cool. So you can do a kind of risk-reward thing where maybe you fight one of these early to get a really powerful mech army to deal with a lot of the raids before you would normally have a lot of stuff to deal with them. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, Royalty too, yeah. Super mechs come with escort mechs of all other types to add combat power. Commanders bring a new escort every time they are called and require a different tactical approach for each engagement. We designed them to be as distinct from each other as possible, so each group is a new challenge. From swarming to sniping to scorching, super mechs have a huge range of combat styles. Let's look at super mechanoids by type. I am really curious if super mechs are going to be immune to EMP. If they're not immune to EMP, it will make them maybe too easy. So hopefully they cover that in this section as well. Diabolus. It's Diablo. An ultra heavy mechanoid with a high energy Hellsphere cannon. Made for siege breaking. Its Hellsphere cannon takes time to charge up a shot, but can melt concrete and vaporize bone. The Diablo dissipates its waste power through a heat column mounted on its back, allowing it to produce massive fiery explosions as a defensive measure. It's surrounded at close range. While extremely powerful, the Diablo, that's what I'm going to call it, lacks maneuverability, meaning you'll need to be fast and agile to defeat it. Keep your colonists moving to outpace the Hellsphere cannon or distract it with cannon fodder. So I already do a lot of kiting in RimWorld, so that seems right up my alley. I was just thinking before it said that, I was like, what if you just melee lock these so they can't do this beam? Well, you might not want to melee lock because you're going to get caught on fire. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah. So this is the siege one. This is the breach version, basically the breach boss. Maybe one of the breach bosses. The War Queen, a terrifying mechanoid with a built-in mech gestator. The War Queen can gestate small war urchin combat mechs inside its massive carapace and deploy them into combat. Given time to build up numbers, a War Queen can overwhelm any opponent with dozens of war urchins. The War Queen demands respect. Failing to destroy it quickly could have devastating consequences as it grows its swarm and overruns the colony. So that might be when you have to go out to fight. Look at those little mechs. The War Queen one seems the scary one to you so far. Apocryton. The mysterious Apocryton is an intelligent commander mechanoid and psychic warrior that harbors endless hatred for humanity. Not much is known about it except that its psychic powers poison the human mind with rage. Its weapon is hatred. Oh no. This one's just going to impact like mood and stuff as it's coming through. Ooh, I don't like that. Is it feeding off the dead? Like that looks like that's what the shock thing we saw in the other preview. That's definitely not EMP. It looks like it's like feeding off the dead ones or something. Like, hopefully it can't cast Berserk on us or something. Holy crap. Huh. Combat mechanoids. Crush enemies and raiders with your own mechanoid army. Biotech lets you control hordes of killer mechs, all connected to your Mechanosaur Overseer. Even death won't stop them. Not even death can save you.
Not even death can save you from me.
Thank you, Diablo. You can resurrect your destroyed mechanoids in gestator tanks. However, protecting your very mortal Mechanosaur is crucial. Drafting combat mechanoids need to stay within range of their Overseer to receive the commands. Wonder how close that's going to be. While mechanoids can work autonomously at any distance, they can only be ordered to move or attack targets that are within their Mechanosaur's range. Mechanoids that become severed from their Overseer risk defecting to hostile mech hives. The new combat mechanoid in Biotech include... We got the Militor, the cannon fodder of any sizable mechanoid army. These small combat mechanoids are armed with a low-power mini shotgun, roughly 4 feet tall. Militors lack the power, range, and toughness of more senior combat mechs. However, they are cheap to gestate and maintain, making them the perfect swarmer. I like these ones. I like this one. Oh, yeah. Imagine your Mechanosaur just dying in a social fight, and then all their mechs are like, exterminate. Scorcher, a closer approach war mechanoid that specializes in incendiary attacks. Its flame burst attack has little reach, but once it closes on defenders, it can ignite and disrupt them with blasts of searing flame. Scorchers quickly turn firefights into firefights. These mechanoids start wildfires with ease and are especially effective against large groups of attackers or those taking shelter in flammable defenses. I can literally have the Scorcher inside my burn box. Guys, we don't need Molotovs anymore. No problem. Legionary, a combat support mechanoid with a wide-range bullet shield and long-range needle gun. Now, remember, bullet shield, no longer explosive shield. Legionaries are excellent for defending long-range allies. Its shield absorb incoming projectiles while allowing colonists and mechanoids to shoot out freely. However, Legionaries are weak to melee attacks, and their shield can be quickly broken with an EMP. That's actually incredible. I think this is probably one of the reasons, or maybe the main reason, why they made 1.4, so that low shields no longer block explosives. Low shields were not super uncommon, but they weren't super common either. They cost a bit. You had to go out and trade for them, or you had to wait for a mech cluster and deconstruct the high shield, low shield to get them and make them. You had to research shields in order to make them. But now you'll be able to get this Legionary that can just give you a low shield. Wow. I wonder how long that stays up or how much it absorbs. Like, holy crap, that has the potential of being just absolutely crazy. That would just make it so, depending on how long that stays up, you could just have a couple of these and tribal raids literally couldn't do anything to you. Well, ranged tribals. Really, really crazy. I don't know if I opened that. I don't know if those are two separate ones or not. Tesseron, a medium-range combat mechanoid with a powerful sweeping beam grazer attack. Oh my god. I don't want to get hit by these. Their gamma ray laser is powerful enough to ignite its target and can even pass through shields. This lets Tesserons strike multiple foes from a safe distance and breach shielded enemies. However, Tesserons are unable to focus their laser at close range, making them susceptible to fast-moving melee opponents. Ouch. Ouch. Low shield, or if it was bigger, potentially. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It looks about the same right now. Just nuke all the things. Centurion, a nearly unstoppable ultra-heavy mech with a built-in shield bubble generator and point defense bulb turret capable of firing even while the mechanoid is moving. The Centurion acts as a mobile defense platform. Its massive shield is one of the strongest among mechanoids, providing a large number of allies with strong defense while allowing them to shoot outwards. So the Centurion might have an even bigger shield, it sounds like, than the Legionary. Shooting while moving, too. Man, oh man. This is going to be insane. In addition to the new mechanoids, you'll be able to control the classic mechanoid types: pikemen, scythers, centipedes, and lancers. You can even create your own super mechs, like the Diabolus and War Queen. We had two main goals with combat mechanoids. First, we wanted to create more diversity in combat. Colonists are only human, which puts limitations on how diverse they can be in battle, whereas mechanoids can have very exotic movement types, abilities, weapons, and tools, from swarms of cheap disposable gunners to slow-moving, tanky tunnelers and shield-projecting defenders. Mechanoids bring a ton of variety to the battlefield and allow for many creative tactics. Yeah, I think the Centurion's probably going to be very expensive based on all that it can do. That's crazy. Second, we didn't want to entirely remove the human element from combat. Some of the most interesting RimWorld stories come from defending your colony or attacking another. By requiring Mechanosaurs to fight alongside their mechanoids, we preserve the human element and the tension of facing down hostile mechs, pirates, raids, and manhunter packs. I like the little shotgun mechs. Create the mech bosses eventually. Yeah. Look at this one with his little gun controlling a pikeman. There's the Legionary. Oh, it's okay. So the bubble this is the Legionary bubble, and the one we saw in the other picture, or the one I'm about to click, is the more expensive Centurion. Huh. So wait, the only actual melee dedicated, the only melee dedicated combat mech is a Scyther. I feel like maybe they should have made I know the mining one has an attack as well, but I feel like they should have made one more of these ones that was maybe a blunt damage melee. There we go. There's the Centurion with his shield. That one looks like low shield. The other one looks more like I don't know, more like a shield belt that's bigger in a way. These beam ones are going to be crazy. They can name it the Bonker. Yeah. It's bonkers. Mechanoid colors and names. Style your mechanoids with dozens of different colors to give them a personalized look and distinguish them from enemy units. And yes, you can rename your mechanoids. Nice. So they're not all just blue. That's pretty cool. Scythers chopping arms are already enough. Coco, Persephone, Maya, Piper, Blossom. Excuse me? Hey. Excuse me? This centipede has a minigun? Flame centipede. Burst centipede. Minigun centipede. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Customizable weapons. Oops. Winston and Scout. Look at them tending to the baby. Baby button. Look at the new gear, too. Wow. This is crazy. Absolutely nuts. What else can you make a melee unit that's not just a reflavored Scyther? I'm sure they could come up with something. I'd have to think on it a little bit, though. Meccanosaur upgrades. By unlocking more powerful Meccanoid technology, you'll gain access to a wide variety of Meccanosaur upgrades, from neural implants to special Meccanosaur armor. Like, what if there's a melee one that has blunt damage that when it hits someone, it knocks them back a tile? Imagine that. Imagine you're trying to be behind cover and this little friggin' bonker robot comes over and gets on top of you and you don't take care of it and it knocks you out of cover and then one of its buddies snipes you. Something like that. I mean, they could think of some other melee other than Scyther, you know? Here's an overview of the Meccanosaur implants you'll have to access in Biotech. Control sublink. These neural implants expanded Meccanosaur's processing power, giving them additional control groups, increasing the work speed of labor mechs. Interesting. That's kind of cool. So it's almost like global work speed for your work mechs. Remote repairer. A mech link upgrade that allows a Meccanosaur to repair a Meccanoid at a distance. The user links to the Meccanoid and psychically guides the self-repair Mechanites. It's great for long-distance mid-combat repairs. The Bonk Bot. Remote shielder. An implant that allows a Meccanosaur to project a shield onto a friendly Meccanoid. Use this during critical moments to save your Meccanoid. Mech gestation processor. This implant connects the Meccanosaur directly to their gestator tanks and increases the speed of Meccanoid production or resurrection. I'm really curious what all the times on all this is going to be. Like when Ideology first came out, the regeneration, like all that kind of stuff, the age reversal, it was all like really too long, it felt like. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what and they changed it pretty quickly. It's gonna be interesting to see how long these take. Repair probe. The more Meccanoids, the more repairs. Repair probe implants substantially increase the repair speed of a Meccanosaur. Punch in one, like Rock'em Sock'em. Yeah, like knocks you back. That would really suck, but most Meccanosaur implants can be installed multiple times. There's a ton of room for progression to make an extremely powerful Meccanosaur. However, all power comes at a cost. High-level Meccanosaur upgrades can only be made using high-tech chips obtained from defeating super mechs. In addition to implants, Meccanosaurs have a wide variety of specialized gear. Meccanosaur headsets. These head-mounted comms computers increase the number of Meccanoids that your Meccanosaur can control. I bet those are not going to be very defensively good, of course. Kind of like the other head slot items in the game right now, other than helmets, of course. Meccanosaur packs. Control packs and bandwidth packs allow Meccanosaur additional flexibility, granting more control groups or more bandwidth. Mech Commander and Mech Lord armor. The ultimate in Meccanosaur gear! This power-assisted armor dramatically amplifies a Meccanosaur's bandwidth. I wonder what defensive level that'll be on too. Like, I wonder where it'll appear. In my guess based on nothing, I feel like it would be like maybe in Marine, or maybe between like Recon and Marine, like based on like the looks as well. Like LTEX, I think it'll be more defensive than LTEX, judging by what we saw in the screenshots. But yeah, I don't know. Give them a shield belt like you do with an LTEX Psycaster pawn at the very least. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and don't forget that these can also be Psycasters. You can literally have the same person be a Psycaster and a Meccanosaur. So, and Royal. You can have them all, of course, Royal Psycaster. But you can literally have this person have the ability to call in things from the Empire, use Psycasting, and call in mechs. That is insane. Absolutely nuts. All right, the basics of pollution. So RimWorld will now have pollution. Meccanoids make for powerful allies, but they come with a unique cost: pollution. Creating and recharging Meccanoids creates toxic waste packs. So, yeah, it looks like garbage. It basically is garbage. Unless frozen, these packs of toxic waste will eventually deteriorate and pollute nearby terrain. Even worse, if they're burned or damaged, they'll pop like a balloon and release deadly toxic gas. Storing them close by may be convenient, but be careful. Deadly toxic gas, you say? Like, can I store these in a kill maze? Perhaps with a way to pop them? Oh my god, guys. I already have burn boxes. I'm gonna have friggin' gas chambers now. I don't know. Mechanoids aren't the only source of pollution. Toxifier generators provide a steady supply of power. But directly pollute the terrain around them. These generators are perfect for mechanoid colonies that need plenty of cheap power, so long as you don't mind some toxic buildup. While a small amount of pollution is manageable, it can quickly get out of hand if you're not careful. I want to know... Oh my god, I want to know how much power these generate and if they can go under mountains. How much power and can they go under mountains? My royal Mechanosaur that I spent 12 years making, controlling 7 powerful mechs, had a heart attack and died, and the mechs destroyed my colony. I wonder if you could have them use a... I wonder if you could have a res serum on hold, and before the mechs lose connection entirely, do they lose it as soon as they die, or does it take a while? You can maybe have one of the mechs use a res serum on your Mechanosaur. I don't know. We'll have to see how it works. Geneva Convention is just a checklist for RimWorld players. Oh, man. Perfect for mechanoid colonies, yeah. Small amount of pollution is manageable. It can quickly get out of hand if not careful. While mechanoids are immune to pollution, your colonists aren't. Depending on their genes, of course. Pollution makes living things sick. It poisons colonists and animals, causing them to slowly gain toxic buildup. Anyone who's encountered toxic fallout in the base game will be familiar with the deadly effects of toxic poisoning. High levels of toxic buildup can cause vomiting, dementia, cancer, and ultimately death. Additionally, normal crops and animals can't survive on polluted terrain. Notice it says normal crops, by the way. The more polluted your colony becomes, the more it will attract toxin-adapted plants and animals. From the twisted witchwood tree to the gas-filled toxalope, pollution will slowly corrupt the land and animals around you. So, we've seen gas masks, and we've seen screenshot of raiders coming in gas masks. Here's the thing, though. Gas masks probably don't have a lot of brain protection. So if you make a colony where your people are immune to toxicity, and then you have the place, like, super friggin' polluted, then it might make raids a little bit easier because they have less protection on the face, neck, and brain in general. So, can we milk the toxalope? That's a good question. Interesting. Pollution also affects the planet at a larger scale. The more polluted an area, the more it affects the surrounding world. High levels of nearby pollution can cause acidic smog to roll in that'll make your colonists' eyes water. Acidic smog blocks the sun and slows plant growth, and the vaporized chemicals corrode exposed items. When starting a new game, you can adjust the world's pollution level, turn it off for a relaxing game, or turn it up for some extra challenge. We could do a playthrough where we try to pollute the world. In dev mode to see how things work? Probably not. I'll probably, literally as soon as it's released, I'll probably just immediately go live with a playthrough. Let's turn the world into Mordor. Managing pollution. Oh, did we look at this? Yeah, we've seen the screenshot. Okay. There's no shortage of tools to deal with or even embrace pollution. Wearing anti-pollution gear like face masks and gas masks reduce your colonists' exposure to pollutants. Transplanting artificial detoxifier organs make your colonists immune to pollution's toxic effects. There is even pollution-related genetic modification, but we'll discuss that in a later post. Order colonists to manually clean up polluted terrain, and they'll package it back into toxic waste packs. However, the safer option is to use automated pollution pumps to keep vulnerable colonists away from the pollution. Are those going to take for friggin' ever, like the moisture pumps? Now, what do we do with the heaping piles of waste? You can freeze them. Frozen waste packs won't dissolve, but they take up a lot of space. You can export them, use caravans or transport pods to dump them. It is going to make people upset, though. Pollux them? Heavily polluted maps will eventually sprout special pollux trees. These trees slowly purify polluted terrain around them. Their delicate root network prevents them from being replanted. Atomize them. High-tech waste pack atomizers let you completely neutralize the threat of toxic waste packs. The process is somewhat slow and quite expensive. Or ignore them. Polluting the land does have some benefits. Polluted terrain can grow new crops like the fast-growing Toxipotato. Oh, man. We might have new answers for what's the best crop? What's the most efficient crop? Well, Toxirice, of course. Don't be stupid. Just don't eat it raw. Pollution can also attract new animal variants like the Toxalope and waste rats. Don't forget to cook it. Pollution and insects. Giant insects love pollution. Originally engineered as anti-Meccanoid bioweapons, these insects are stimulated by the toxic fumes of polluted terrain, making them faster and deadlier. When conditions are inhospitable, insects form stasis cocoons and burrow underground. These cocoons keep insects safe from fire, extreme temperatures, and other threats for decades. Many planets are littered with these cocoons. Lying just below the surface, the scent of a dissolving waste pack can trigger the cocoons to resurface in a dormant state until they're disturbed, causing a mass eruption of insects. So now you're going to have to deal with insects, perhaps, even with non-mountain maps, even without caves, etc. So insects are going to be more prevalent and are going to be something you have to think about in your playthrough. So those are nightmares needed, Titan. Rodents of unusual sizes. So there's the cocoons popping. I think. Yep. I imagine that's what those are. Maybe. Insects in your first playthrough? No, I'm not. Cocoon infestations are threatening but have their uses. They can be intentionally triggered to farm insect meat or be set up defensively in strategic locations. Stop raiders in their tracks with a horde of angry insects. You can also avoid cocoons altogether with strict waste pack management. That's pretty cool. I like that. All right. Toxic gas. Last section here. Toxic gas is a deadly chemical irritant. It burns the lungs and eyes, causing temporary shortness of breath and reduced sight. Chronic exposure to toxic gas results in toxic buildup and eventually death. It can be created by burning toxic waste packs or weaponized with a new research project. Toxic gas weapons include toxic grenades, tox bomb launchers, toxic mortar shells, toxic IEDs, and wearable toxic packs. Someone was saying they didn't think they thought this through with a gas chamber type thing. No, they are definitely leaning into it. They did think it through. Toxic gas adds a lot of interesting combat tactics. Toxic gas clouds can greatly diminish the effectiveness of ranged attacks. After all, it's hard to shoot a gun if you can't see or breathe. Additionally, attackers that are exposed to toxic gas for long enough will eventually be down from toxic buildup. You also need to learn how to defend against toxic gas. It's the signature weapon of one of our new factions. More on that later. Ooh. Wear gas masks or be smart about your colonist movement to negate the effects of toxic gas. One of the factions going to attack with mostly toxic weapons. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Dub's bad hygiene mod. Pipe in toxic gas. Your toxic tunnel might also accidentally spawn weaponized insects. Yeah. There are flamethrowers, yeah. You can actually breathe fire. You can make people breathe fire. There are flame packs we saw. Man, oh man. Crazy. So what I think about this, again, like it's all crazy good stuff. Like if you look at it, like I always say, you know, RimWorld, play however you like. Play any game that's not like a competitive game with rules and crap. Play however you like. As long as you're having fun, however you want to play RimWorld. There's no wrong way to play it. The developers say it's a story generator. That's their design philosophy of the game. But you can do everything from a completely peaceful existence where you make like crazy bases and whatever. And you can play on the crazy 500% no pause bullcrap that I do, even with mods that make it harder than what I play as even, or anything in between, right? And so what I really like about this expansion so far is, at least the information that we're getting, is it seems to hit on both of those. Like there are so many thematic things and like, you know, well, themed playthroughs you can do, self-imposed themed playthroughs and just themed playthroughs that between this and ideology and the combination and royalty, of course, that you can do, but there's also like, there's definitely min-max there of figuring out like how can I utilize this new stuff? How do I utilize gas for my benefit? The tunnels, the new mechs. There's just so many things. I can't wait to see how it all interacts and fine-tune things. It's gonna add so much content, and man, we're gonna have a lot to do. I'll be playing this as soon as it comes out. Literally, I'll be streaming on Twitch the minute it is accessible, and I'm gonna try to get all the information up on YouTube as fast as possible as well. So this is the last of the updates right now. They will have more. I will do the next updates right away in the future, as long as there's not more stuff going on with like family stuff or whatnot. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this as well. It releases sometime in October is all we know. So all we know right now. We also know that 1.4 is pretty broken at the moment. There's a lot of things in 1.4 that aren't working. Lots of bugs up on unstable. You can probably figure that once 1.4 releases, this will be behind it in just a few days. So 1.4 is not super great at the moment. So I'm thinking at least a couple more weeks. I'm guessing the week of the 21st-ish. So week and a half to 2 weeks from now is what I think. So God of War, I know, I'm thinking about that too. But yeah, let me know what you think about all this stuff so far. If you're watching this later on YouTube or whatever, let me know in the comments. Like, I read all the comments, I really do. I try to reply to all of them as well. And again, because I didn't touch on it in this video, but I did in one of the previous ones. I really hate when people are just like, what? But you can use mods to do all this. All right, not everyone uses mods, first off. And if they restricted themselves for doing anything that a mod already existed with, they would be so restricted. They couldn't do anything. People were talking about it with fences. When Ideology posted a preview picture of the fence, people were like, wow, how original. Fences. There are already 5 different mods for fences. Yeah, and you know why there's mods for fences that are highly downloaded? It's because people think that should be in the game. Lots of people enjoy them, and people that don't play with mods, people that are using console or whatnot, they should have access to fences as well. It's not like they have to reinvent the wheel every single time. So yes, there are things that are straight out of mods. Of course there are. And the popular mods have showed a need, or at least a want for that content in the game. And I bet you the majority of people that actually play RimWorld, not the people that are on Reddit or YouTube or Twitch or, you know, people like us here that have hundreds or thousands of hours, most of the people that play RimWorld that buy the game on Steam probably never use mods. They probably don't. Believe it or not, the wide majority probably don't. So, but yeah, looking forward to this. Can't wait for the next preview. We're gonna have a lot to do.